Steve here, back at the tin table again, doing another test. I've got the Firebox all folded up here. Today I'm going to try another configuration with the Trangia. I know I say that wrong, so I'll do my best to get that right. I'll go ahead and set up the Firebox, and I was also playing around with the Firebox and the Trangia and realized another position that really works out great, just out of pure luck. But these smaller holes up here at the top corner, there's small ones here and also down here at the bottom, but these ones up here at the top are the ones I'm referring to. And if you put the sticks through those vertically, then they will actually create a spot that the Trangia slips right into, just snugly. It's almost perfect. It's just pure luck that it worked out this way. But not only is it the perfect width for the Trangia to fit in there, but it's also, I think, really close to the perfect height. I measured from the top of the Trangia to the top edge of the Firebox, and it's just shy of 1.5 inches. So it may not be absolutely perfect, but I think it actually might be about as good as it could get. But what I'm going to do today, I'm not going to do this position today. What I was planning on doing today is using the boil plate attachment and actually using a 40-ounce stainless steel bottle. Now these are pretty close to the same size as the Ollie Camp cups. This is a GSI cup, so they're pretty much the same size. What they're the same size of is the Nalgene bottle, so they'll fit nicely through the boil plate. You know, they have a little bit of a gap around the edges, which is okay. That allows a little bit of heat to actually continue traveling up against the actual water bottle. And what I'm going to do is, rather than fill this all the way up for a time, I'm going to, in the interest of keeping things consistent, I'm going to do 2 cups once again. So I'm going to go ahead and use this GSI cup as my measure. And I hope I can pour this in here without spilling too much of it. Now I would like to do a full 40-ounce boil and try that, but for today, and whereas these other tests were done with 2 cups, I'm going to go ahead and keep it right at 2 cups. But what I'm going to be sure of is to not put the lid on tight. I'm going to put it on, but I'm going to be certain that it's loose. You know, if you were to boil one of those with that lid tight, that could be very dangerous. You don't want to do that. Okay, so I've got my Trangia here. I'm going to light it and then set it down in there. Okay, so that's going. I'm going to use my fire stick just to center that up nicely there in the bottom. And while that's coming to a blossom, because that Trangia is going to be putting out some heat, I'm going to use my fire sticks to set this boil plate into place. Let's see, I've got those turned around the corners just a little bit too far. Let me straighten those out. Okay, so I'm going to put one, so I'm actually going to put this side in first. I'm going to use the fire stick to help me get this other side in. There we go. Okay, so that's clipped in. And then I'm going to go ahead and run. Let's see, I should have figured this out a little more closely. I'm going to run these fire sticks in flat, hoping that that won't change the flow dynamics too much of the heat. And then I can hear that going down there, but I don't hear the hiss of the jets yet. So I'm going to give that just a second longer to come to a full blossom or bloom. And while that's... Oh, boy, that just burst into a bloom there. Let's see here. So let me find my stopwatch on my phone. I do have a pretty good breeze out here. Okay, so the lid is loose. I'm going to set it on there just because I do want to contain the heat. I'm going to go ahead and set that down in there. And I'm going to close this wind damper. And I'm going to kind of center the bottle so the gap on the... okay, I'm going to start this. But the gap around the bottle is the same all the way around. And we'll go ahead and see what happens here. I think I have about 1.5 inches of space between the Trangia and the bottom of the water bottle. And I'm hoping that I'll get some steam out of the top of the water bottle to give me a good indication. I'm going to go ahead and angle this up just a little bit so you can see the top of the water bottle. See if I can get this to stay. Okay. Let's see what happens. Now in my previous Trangia test, in just a regular pot, I was able to boil water to a full rolling boil in approximately 7 minutes. So it started boiling in isolated spots, an actual rolling, not just bubbles, but an actual boil in about 6 minutes and 20 seconds. And then when it was a full rolling boil all the way across the bottom, was closer to 7 minutes. So let's see what we get here. Wow, the stainless steel certainly makes a lot more noise than the aluminum. The pot I used in the last test was aluminum, and you can't even tell when it's thinking about boiling, but the stainless steel is already making noise, and it's only been on there for 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and take this camera off and just do kind of a wraparound view so you can see how this setup is. You kind of see it's open there. I don't know if you can see the flames in there. You can see a little bit of flames coming up around the sides. You can see, other than the front, the rest of the stove is pretty well boxed in, containing that heat up against the bottle. I don't think we have a boil because I'm not seeing steam yet. Oh, a little bit of steam. Okay, we're getting close. We're at 7:48, almost 8 minutes. Once again, we do have a breeze out here, and I don't have an additional windscreen other than what the Firebox offers. That's the thing about doing these tests outdoors is, you know, you try to make everything the same, but the conditions, you can never make them the same. So that's why I'm not real critical about getting exact times, because you just, approximations are about as good as you'll ever get. You know, out in the outdoors, open environment. Okay, it has started to boil there. Just a bit of kind of boiling at the sides as much as the bottom. That we're at just turned 9 minutes. The thing I do like about the idea of using a stainless steel water bottle is you can just, you know, maybe you could boil your water the night before and then let it sit all night. Oh, there it goes. Now it's really rip snorting. We're at 9:23. So 9:23 for the full-on boil. Okay, we've got the alcohol stove going in there. And this time I've actually pushed the alcohol stove towards the back a little bit. There, it just came to a bloom. But having it towards the back will cause the heat to have to flow from the back to the front, and I'm hoping have a little more contact with the actual water. Put on 2 cups of water in the 40-ounce bottle. Here's the timer. I'm going to go ahead and start it now. There's 2 cups of water. And I've got notice I have the lid loose, just sitting there. And let's see how long this takes. Just a quick boil test here in the morning before I run into the office. This time I'm going to close the gap at the back because the heat's coming right up the back and I want it to be forced around to the sides and hopefully have a little bit more contact with the bottle on its way. And the bottle's already making a little noise. But I'm going to go ahead and cut out, and I'm going to keep this timer going. We're at 1 minute and 10 seconds, 12 seconds, and I'll just cut back to you. Okay, we're at 5:12, 5:13, and the bottle's making a lot of noise, so I decided to come back on. Now I set this up a little differently this time. My previous test, I had the fire sticks vertical. This time I have them horizontal. And I also moved the alcohol stove towards the back of the stove, the alcohol burner towards the back of the stove, and I moved the bottle towards the back of the opening of the hole in the boiler plate. So my theory around having these flat instead of vertical is that the flow of heat will be able to pass over them easily, whereas when they're vertical, it may cause the heat to flow side to side instead of all the way around. And so far it seems to be making a difference. I'm at 6 minutes and 13 seconds, and I think we're real close to having a boil. And then also having that burner towards the back, causing the heat to have to travel past the bottle to get out the front. Causing the heat to need to travel a little bit further in contact with the bottle. And I think this is about to start boiling. Some steam is starting to come out of the top. It actually sounds like it's boiling in there. Yeah, it started boiling just in some isolated spots, but it's not a full raging boil yet. Okay, I think it may have just... Okay, that's a full raging boil, and we're at 7:04, so right at about 7 minutes. There we have it. There's another test with the 40-ounce stainless steel water bottle in the... Whoops, I'm fogging up my lens here. In the boil plate in the Firebox. Thanks for watching.